Alright, so this is going to be a quick video, hopefully a beginning of a series. This is pretty much me taking some comments that I found in my videos and answering them. Now, these comments that I'm picking up are usually need a more complex answer, and it's better if I just talk about it in a video and also help other people that are wondering the same thing. This is gonna be like a chill video. There's nothing really serious about this. Okay, now for context, any mention of a build in these questions refer to my latest MagDK build, which is called the Eternal Ignition. If you haven't seen that, you should go check it out before watching this video, because a lot of these questions will make a lot more sense. Gonna jump straight into the first question here. This question comes from Bad Ghost, and he says, I added this build and I had a problem. I categorically do not have enough damage against serious opponents. One of them was a Max Orc, which I could not penetrate in any way, and it inflicted huge damage on me, having at the same time super impenetrability and super sustain. What could be the problem? The armor is exactly the same as in the video enchantments, etc. Okay, so if you're fighting Sork that uses Streak 3 to 4 times in a row and then attacks back, there's literally nothing you can do, and that's just because Streak is honestly right now overperforming, and especially if it's Ball of Lightning. If it's Ball of Lightning, like, it's better to just disengage. If it's a Sork that uses a lot less streaks, but he just has a lot of really high damage, your best bet is to keep your Dragonfire skills up, and that's honestly the biggest offenders to any Max Orc in the game. It gives you a lot of mitigation, which is 50% to all of their damage except for Curse, and it also hits them back with a huge single target. I call it Reflect, but as long as you keep wings up, you're not gonna have as much problems with Sorks. Now I'm gonna move to the next question. Now the next question comes from Waleed, and he says, did you try Eye of the Storm Ultimate instead of Standard? It should last 10 seconds with Elfane and almost, I assume he says, double the damage. Eye of the Storm, the thing about Eye of the Storm is it has a lot of damage, it lasts very long, but DK Standard lasts longer, and also DK Standard gives Major Defile, which is like one of the strongest debuffs in the game currently because of the healing nerfs. So I would say, and also DK Standard lasts longer, so you can have better time to line up your burst with your whips. So I'd say still keep DK Standard over Eye of the Storm. Now the next question comes from Sarjo Gaming, and he says, will this build work in non-CP just fine, or would there be some adjustments? Yes, the build will work perfectly fine in no CP. In my opinion, it's actually one of the stronger no CP setups, because you don't have any recovery points into the recovery tree. I don't remember the exact name, so your sustain will be perfectly fine in OCP. If not, then you just remove Cinderstorm for Meditate. In my opinion, both morphs of Meditate work. You just have to pick which one you prefer. Next question comes from Bobby McGee. He says, I'm having trouble choosing out of Infuse or Charge for this build. Anyone know which is better? By a long mile, I mean, Charge is better. Charge just gives you so much fucking sustain, it's unbelievable. It's kind of annoying that you have to run a Charge staff for your sustain to work, but that's just how it is. You can't really change that. That's the current meta of the game. But yeah, Charge is way better. Infuse will give you more damage, but your sustain will be absolute fucking ass. So go for Charged, don't go Infused. Next question comes from Spleeza, you know what? I don't know how to say that name, I hope I said it right. Anyway, he says, for backbar, can I use Resto? What? I think he means Resto instead of Sword and Shield. If you want a 1v1, do Battlegrounds or PvP with a large group, then I'd say Resto is better. If you're in a duo or a solo, I would say Sword and Shield is better. Rapid Region in 1v1s is pretty strong, BGs is pretty strong, and also in big groups, because you can give your friends heals, and also yourself, it's also pretty strong. So if you do 1v1s, BGs, and large group PvP in Cyrodiil, go for Resto. If you don't, go for Sword and Shield. Next question comes from Bucks Fan, and he says, so I am finding I stay alive a really long time with this build, but not doing a whole lot of anything else. I don't feel like I'm really doing anything, seems tough to kill anyone with. Okay, wondering if I'm doing something wrong. Even tested out in a public dungeon and just not a lot of damage, which players are much better at mitigating than stupid mobs. I do still have a couple of skills left to morph. That might be it. Getting my ass handed to me by MagDK 2H all day too. I'm having a little bit of issues understanding what you're trying to say here. First, you said that you tested it in a public dungeon, which is, no offense to you, that's literally the worst place to ever test any build with, PvE and PvP. It's just like, public dungeons are literally the easiest thing you can do. So you don't really gain anything from testing anything there. If you're not doing a lot of damage to someone who's like extremely tanky, then that's just like, if he's not doing any damage to you and he's extremely tanky, then he's pretty much just a tank. But if you're finding yourself not killing squishy people, then you need to practice a lot more with the build. And a lot of players agree that this build has a lot of damage and has a lot of tankiness together, which is a good combination. But I've barely had any comments saying that this build has no damage. So I'd say make sure that everything is up to date. Make sure you have your gear all upgraded, all the right traits. Everything is the right traits. Make sure your skills are morphed. Like you said, you have a couple of skills left to morph. Make sure everything is leveled up to max. And then practice a lot more. Practice. If you keep practicing, you'll get there. You'll get to whooping ass. So yeah, that's pretty much it for all the questions that I picked. These are the questions that I found the most interesting to answer. If you have any other questions about me, about the build, about the game, about anything, you can ask me down in the comments here, and I will hopefully make another video like this where I answer your comments in a video. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you leave a quick like on that, and subscribe if you want to see MagDK content or ESO content in general. And I hope you guys have a great day, and see you later.